come to the podium. We'll begin in just a few moments. You can approach the podium. ਅਸੀਂ ਥੋੜੇ ਮਿੰਟਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰਨ ਲੱਗੇ ਹਾਂ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਧਰ ਨੂੰ cultures, nationalities, religions. It's a tribute to Sacramento and Northern California that in a time of tragedy, we come together in such a powerful way and make a powerful statement here in front of the Capitol. As you all know, last Sunday, the Sikh community, and in fact, the nation, was shocked by the tragedy and the assault in Wisconsin, where members of the Sikh community were gathered contemplating on God, joining with their families, joining with their communities when they were attacked. People lost their lives that day, but we did not lose our spirit as a Sikh community. We join with our colleagues in Wisconsin. We feel their pain here in Sacramento and across the country. And each of us has a personal story, a way in which you are touched. Whether you are Sikh and you know and you feel that that could have been you at your temple on a Sunday. Or whether you're Christian and you know that you also go evil, unbalanced person in your community. Or whether you're Muslim and you know that members of your faith have been subject to discrimination, have been subject to hate crimes. If you're part of the community, you understand that this attack is not just an attack on the Sikhs of Wisconsin and the Sikhs of Oak Creek. It's an attack on their community, that state, and on all of us. And in that personal way, you develop your own connection. And my own in-laws, the grandparents to my children, live in Wisconsin. And they were on their way to the temple that morning when the shooting occurred. And they were delayed because of routine incidents at home. Their young toddler grandson delayed them a little bit. And they arrived at the temple and were turned back by law enforcement without any explanation. Then they went down an adjacent road and immediately asked a neighbor, somebody who lived there, said, "What's going on?" And the neighbor said, "There was a shooting at the mosque." A shooting at the mosque. Now imagine that. That is a neighbor from the community who thinks that they live next to a mosque. Now I imagine if we go across the country and we go to different mosques, mandars, if we go to churches and we say, "Who's your neighbor?" we might get a similar response. A South Asian might say, "I think it's Protestant, Catholic, I know they believe in Jesus." A South Asian might say, "Yeah, I'm not really sure." And we know that somebody might say it's a mosque, somebody might say it's a temple, they may say it's a Hindu mandir. But there is a fundamental miscommunication and a lack of outreach that we all are guilty of. Now that highlights the challenges for Sikhs and for all minorities. There's an ignorance there, and we know that ignorance leads to violence. And we have to do a better job of battling that ignorance. Last year we gathered here for American Sikh Day, here at this place. We gathered in the wake of the murder of two grandfathers in Elk Grove. We still don't know the motivations behind that attack. We don't know who the murderers were. Since then, we've made great gains, particularly here in the Sacramento area. We've done outreach, we've done dinners, we've had the media come into our gurdwaras and our temples, we've joined with other communities and cultures and religions, and we've done a good job, but it's not enough. As long as children are being bullied, it's not enough. As long as elders are being attacked, it's not enough. As lives are being lost, it is not enough. We have made great strides, but it is not enough. The problem is clearly in front of us. We need to do an even better job of representing ourselves as a community. And when I say ourselves, I don't mean just Sikhs. I mean South Asians, Catholics, Protestants. Do your neighbors know who you are? If they understand who you are, you destroy the ignorance which causes crimes like this. But if we're part of the problem, we also have the solution. The solution is within our reach. Starting tomorrow, introduce to yourselves to your neighbors. Even here today, there are members of cultures that you don't know. And as we gathered here today, maybe you didn't introduce yourself because you felt unsure. Take the time, look at your neighbor, introduce yourself. When you go home, if you don't know the neighbor, if you don't know the people in your neighborhood, if you don't know the people that live around your temple, around your church, around your mosque, introduce yourself. Participate in the political process. Join the Republican Party, the Democratic Party, the Tea Party. Be a part of a Sikh organization, Jakara, Saldef, Sikh Coalition, United Sikhs. Do something. If you leave here and go home and don't do anything, you're not part of the solution. You can fix this. The fact that you're here tells me you want something better. Well, take that in your hands, introduce yourselves to your neighbors, and do something better. Make a difference. Stop ignorance. Stop violence. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Sri Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. May God bless us all, and may God bless the United States of America.
Thank you. My name is Harjeet Kaur Garawal, and I'm a volunteer with the Sikh Coalition and an associate attorney at the Shergill Law Firm. I come before you today with a heavy heart. I've had to attend far too many vigils just like this one. Last year for the Elk Grove shootings, 2005 for my own brother who was shot to death while delivering a pizza in Vallejo. Sorry. It's difficult moving forward when our brothers and sisters are shot with such hate-filled violence. Their loss is never forgotten, and we continue to pray that their souls rest in peace. For me, this loss has sparked great responsibility. I was reminded of this responsibility earlier this week. I was praying at the Gurdwara on Monday, and a little Sikh girl came up to me, and she said, "I see the work you do. When I am older, am I going to have to do the same work?" The work she means is the work of bringing awareness of Sikhi, bringing awareness of religious tolerance, so that our brothers and sisters aren't shot. I avoided directly answering her question because I couldn't tell her with conviction that she will not have to do this work as she grows up. So instead, I told her to find strength in her faith, to find strength in her community. A few days later, she approached me again with the same question. It pains my heart that I couldn't tell her the truth. I couldn't tell her that, no, you won't have to stand here like we are standing here today when you grow up. It hurts my soul that I couldn't help her dispense her fears. When I looked into her eyes and I saw her pain, I realized that we've all failed this little girl. We have failed our children. By not doing anything for changing the future for her, we are all standing silent, and we are By standing silent, we are not doing anything to prevent this for our children. We're not doing anything to prevent this for other communities. While we've all taken an important step by being here together today, every one of you can do something. In this next month, I ask all of you to take 1 hour out of your lives and do something in your community. You can write an op-ed article. You can go to your neighbor and explain what Sikhi is. Parents can bring Indian food to your children's schools and explain to them what we are about. Love. That is it. You can be the next person to pave the way for political involvement in our community. You can be the next person that stops discrimination. Kids at school, you can stand up for those that are bullied. The next time a mosque is burned down, a synagogue is vandalized, or Sikhs are attacked, we should stand together like this, knowing, confident that we have done all that we can do.
Days of the year, and our prayers and thoughts have been with this community, which last time we stood right here on these steps, we were celebrating with the Sikh community the passage of AB 1964, Assembly Bill 1964, which came out of committee that day and won, and we were here celebrating together, and it was finally a fresh break. It was a fresh break because every time before that, every time we gathered, it was about a hate crime. A West Sacramento cab driver, the two elderly men in Elgrove. Every time before that, every time we would get together, it would be about a hate crime. So last time we stood here, we were excited, we were happy, we were smiling because it represented hope. And then this happened. But I'll tell you one thing, since 9/11, it was the Sikh community that suffered the brunt of the hate crimes, more than the Muslim community. Yes, because they perceived you as Muslim and for other reasons, but this crime in Wisconsin is different. He didn't kill them because he thought they were Muslim. He was a neo-Nazi, right? And because they were brown. Is because they were brown, which is interesting. Because now it puts the struggle of the Sikh community, not just, because they thought they were Muslim. No, now it puts it in the struggle of our Latino brothers and sisters, of our African American brothers and sisters, and all the minorities in this country. So it makes this struggle a larger struggle. And we have in the audience here our brothers and sisters from the Latino community and the African American community, right? So now you're part of a larger struggle. So it's not just the Sikhs and the Muslims now. Now they attacked you because you're brown, because you look different. So now we have more people standing with the Sikh community, more than ever today. And we'll tell you that the Muslim community and the civil rights community is behind you 110% today more than ever, and we will be there for you. And we tell the young Sikh boy right here and the young Sikh girl, this young man that's wearing the turban, we tell you be proud. Be proud. And for everyone in this audience that's wearing a turban that has a beard, be proud today more than ever. Because we are working hard to ensure that people respect the diversity of this nation and respect your community, because your community is a pillar of this state, a pillar of California, because you guys have been here more than most Californians. Because you guys have been here over 100 years ago when you came from Punjab and you helped build California. So you should be proud of that. And we were telling you, be proud of that, and we will be there with you in the struggle. And one day, just like other communities, the struggle will be over, and we will have peace, and people will respect you and see the tremendous contribution that your community has made to California and to this nation. God bless you, and God bless this nation.
To share, educate your friends, your family, and neighbors on why this event should not go unnoticed. Let me tell you this. We are here to stay. As we continue to stand together with our Sikh brothers and sisters during this difficult time, let us work as a community of advocates to dispel hate and cultivate a culture of tolerance for everyone. Thank you.
Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Guru Pyari Saad Sangat Ji. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Prabjit Kaur, and I want to begin by sincerely thanking everyone for taking the time out to come here today. It is important that we show unity in times of distress. Sadly, Sikhs have been the victims of many hate crimes following 9/11 because of misidentification. Sikhism is a humanitarian religion which believes in one God and peace for all. Sikhism is the world's 5th largest religion and is big on equality and showing respect to everyone, regardless of religion, regardless of nationality, regardless of creed. I want to share a quote from our very own Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. As a Gurmukh, look upon all with the single eye of equality. In each and every heart, the divine light is contained. At the end of the day, it does not matter which religion or nationality one is from. What matters is that we are all human. There is great power in numbers, and it is important that we take a stand against hate and violence together. Not as separate communities, but as one strong community. True patriotism lies in the love for one's country, as well as love for the ones who live there. Regardless of color, origin, or beliefs, we all call America our home and want the best for this country. Both the Colorado shooting and the Wisconsin shooting were very tragic events which our country and our people did not deserve. In response to those incidents, one of the most important things we can do as a community is to empower and teach. We need to stay focused on the principles of love and respect. Let us all stand united to make sure these types of situations never arise again. Thank you and God bless America. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Hello, my name is Amanda Amandeep Kaur Buller. I'm going to be reading a letter that was earlier read in Wisconsin this morning. It is on behalf of the president of the Sikh Temple, Sacramento. I, Balbir Singh Dhillon, president of the Sikh Temple, Sacramento, would like to offer my condolences to the family of this tragic event, wounded victims, along with the police officer, Brian Murphy. My heart goes out to the entire community of Wisconsin and the Sikh faith. It is horrific how much impact one ignorant person can have on the lives of the rest of us. On the behalf of the Management Committee and the congregation of the Sikh Temple, Sacramento, I again extend our hearts to share this horrible, painful time with you. The Sikh Temple, Sacramento has offered $11,000 towards the affected families from this horrific incident. Almighty God, we humbly request you to keep all of the innocent victims of this tragedy in the Oak Creek Sikh Temple shooting in Wisconsin at your glorious feet, protect them forever, and provide comfort to their families. Thank you.
My name is John Fish, and I'm from the Interfaith Council of Greater Sacramento. In my prayers and my thoughts this week, I've thought about the pilgrims who came to America to escape tyranny from a king and to worship how they wanted to and to live and to be free. And the very basic tenet of the Constitution and the fiber of our country has to do with being able to worship how we may and where we will. Now, in the course of those prayers and thoughts, I turned to some of the holy writings from the Sikh gurus, and one line jumped out at me the other night. It says, one should be contented, speak the truth, and practice charity. So my hope tonight is that we will be content in the days and the weeks to come, that we have remembered those enough who have been murdered senselessly in Elk Grove and West Sacramento and Oak Creek. Let us speak the truth that says violence will never be found in our society, nor in humanity as a whole. And let us practice charity by doing for others as we would have done to us. Let us follow the examples of wonderful Sikh individuals and families who have led and showed the way in this community. And then let us pray for contentment. Let us seek to know and understand truth in our lives. Let us be charitable to all. Let us be God-fearing people as we go about.
Representing Senator Darrell Steinberg, the President Pro Tem of the Senate. This is our building. This is your building. And I was standing here watching us move this microphone up and down for our Basim and our little Linda. Different sizes, different colors, all with the same message. Standing together as Sacramentans, as Californians, and as Americans, and praying that the next time we gather, as we will, that it is for celebration, and that we do not have to have these vigils any longer. Thank you.
I'm Darshan Singh Mandi. I'm the Public Relations Officer from Sikh Temple of Sacramento, West Sacramento. Guru Sat Sangat, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Today we gather to remember those Americans that lost their lives at the hands of a misguided soul or an unstable mind. Their names are Bhai Satwant Singh Kalika, Bibi Paramjit Kaur, Bhai Sita Singh, Bhai Ranjit Singh, Bhai Subek Singh Khatara, Bhai Prakash Singh. They are Americans that gathered with their families and their communities to contemplate God, Americans that believed in the better life offered by this country, Americans that left behind a mourning family, community, and nation. And we pray for the injured and remain serious condition. Lieutenant Brian Murphy, Bhai Punjab Singh, may God bless them with their quick recovery. In the past, when asked about 6 tragedies, I have said along with others that 6 have been assaulted and murdered because they are mistaken for the enemies of the United States. We have tried to explain Oak Creek, Elk Grove, and Mesa. But what of Aurora, Fort Hood, 9/11, and Columbia, and others? As Attorney General, U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder said this morning, Sunday's attack was not just an affront of the value of Sikhism, it was an attack on the value of America itself. He said to all 6, we need you now more than ever to do what our ancestors have always done in times of adversity. Show us what it means to rise above suffering and struggle.
And what the victims' loved ones must have felt like outside. To begin to heal, we must remain in Jardi's law and trust in God and have faith that the victims are in peace with God. We must pray for peace for their loved ones and ensure that our future as a nation will be one of peaceful, united coexistence through education and awareness. A fear of those who are different from us is what holds us back as a society. I want to educate my fellow Americans about Sikhism because education is what transforms the ideology of them into us. Sikhism is a distinct religion, unrelated but often mistaken for Hinduism or Islam. In Sikhism, we believe hair is sacred, so Sikh males often wear turbans and have long beards, and Sikh females can either wear turbans or headscarves.
Auto shooting as well as the Wisconsin shooting. Thank you.
Guru Sat Sangat, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. I know program थोड़ा लंबा हो गया, तो साढ़ा
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.